Hello, this is Soundout here, back with another video. Today I want to do something a little different. I want to try out a new series idea. This is something I want to do, and I want to see what your feedback is. So let me know what you think of what I'm reading, what I'm playing, and what I'm watching. Which is just basically a video, kind of like every month. It is the first of the month. So I figured, hey, why not talk about the different media that I'm consuming? In a little bit of a vlog. This allows me to have a simpler video to do, and it might be an opinion thing that you guys might like. So let me know what you think of this video in the comments below. It'd be very helpful to hear your feedback. So anyways, talking about things that I do for hobbies outside of making videos, I read books, I play video games, and I watch TV and movies, and I build Gunpla. When it comes to building Gunpla, though, I have a whole show where I review these things, so this doesn't really need to be covered in here. But everything else is kind of like, I don't really talk about books very much, I don't really talk about video games as much, or TV shows. I talk about toys mostly. So this is kind of like, what are the other things I like? So in terms of what I'm reading right now, I'm currently on Bionicle Adventures number 7, which is Web of the Visorak. I've been reading through all of the Bionicle books again, in an attempt to read them all before the first book from the new series comes out. But I might not get there because I'm only at Adventure 7. I really need to start reading these faster. But other things I'm reading kind of gets in the way sometimes. But anyways, this is a really great book series. Some of my favorite books so far have been the Beware the Bow-Rock. I thought was like the best of the original Toamata stories. So I thought that one was really good. And some of the journey of the Toa Metru from Metru Nui to Matanui and then Matanui to Metru Nui was kind of fun. Kind of exploring the characters more. Now it's all Hordika and stuff now. So anyways, that's Bionicle. There's like 30 books. There's a lot of books for the series. So I'm still reading that. I recently picked up Gundam The Origin. I am on volume 2 now. This is part of the reason why I'm delayed on Bionicle. This is a manga that retells the original Gundam series, but in an expanded and condensed version. I mean that as in they expanded on some character backstories, they added some scenes, but they also like removed some episodes that weren't necessary. So it kind of gives you a better look at it, and it really made me realize how bad Tomino was writing characters back in the day, because I really hated Amuro in the original series, I'll be honest, but in the Origin he's a lot better, and it may be because his character progression happened over like 300 pages instead of 13 episodes. So that's pretty nice. And they did add like several little scenes. They use a better looking gun tank, which is the Origin version. And all its new content and backstories are getting adapted now, which is fun. But yeah, this is a 12-volume manga series. They did these nice hardcover releases in America, which I've never had for a manga, so this is pretty cool. But yeah, there was a sale at Barnes & Noble's, like buy 2 get the 3rd free on all manga. So I was like, hey, I'm going to catch up on Gundam The Origin. So I was reading volume 2. It's a great, great manga. I would recommend it. Other than that, weekly comic-wise, I'm barely reading any DC these days. Which is really, really bad. I used to read a lot of DC comics. I'm only really reading, like, Injustice and Dr. Fate. That's about it. I'm trying to keep up with the Spiderman stuff from Marvel, but there's so much. I'm really behind. But the one comic I've been keeping up with is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from IDW. I think that their interpretation of the Turtles is probably one of the better comic ones, next to Mirage Comics, which I can't speak a whole lot of. I haven't read most of it, but this has been the Vengeance storylines going on right now, and we're at issue 48 of 50, and things have gotten crazy. So if you're a fan of Turtles and want something a little different, this is definitely different, and I would recommend that. And in other things, I've been reading Spider-Man 2099. I'm on volume 3 of the classic series, which actually has the full Fall of the Hammer storyline, which is pretty nice. I love the futuristic look of the 2099 stuff. I don't necessarily like some of the other comics. I've tried some Ravage 2099 and some Doom 2099. Doom 2099 actually has some interesting ideas, but Spider-Man 2099 is probably one of my favorite alternate Spider-Man, so reading his original series is fun, plus his new series. So that's what I've been reading lately. Just mostly Gundam The Origin. I blew through the first book in like a day. It was really cool. Now in terms of video games, I'll start out small with the 3DS and the DS. I have been playing Fossil Fighters Frontier, which is a game that you pretty much find dinosaur fossils, revive them, and battle them. It's really fun. You get to just drive around in a bone buggy and revive dinosaurs and have them battle, and there's a neat little storyline going on. I found this to be really fun. I picked it up because, you know, dinosaurs, and it's actually quite a fun game. I've also been heavily playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. I have a goal of finishing this game before Xenoblade Chronicles X comes out in December. We'll see how that goes. This is a very, very long game. But it's really fun. Like, when I start playing it, the only thing that really gets me to stop is my 3DS battery dying or something interrupting me that I need to go do. Other than that, I'll keep playing this game for a while. It's quite awesome, and it's a great reason to own a new 3DS. And, of course, I've been playing Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. It's like my main game. I play this thing a lot, and I have so much fun with Monster Hunter. I've talked about it before on my gaming channel. Monster Hunter is great. I've also been playing Chrono Trigger DS. I found this at GameStop. I was like, hey, you should totally play Chrono Trigger, and it's pretty cool. It's been talked to death a lot, but Chrono Trigger is a great game. And I'm glad to experience on it on DS. I think it's perfect. In terms of PS3, a PS3 disc drive has been kind of wonky lately. I haven't been able to play discs until I recently had to get a new one to fix the problem. So I haven't really played a lot of PS3 games, but I did play Lego Batman 3 last night, which is super fun. And I have been playing my fighting games like Injustice and Tekken and Street Fighter. But Digimon All-Star Rumble is something I want to talk about, because this game is fantastic. It's really, really fun. It doesn't really have too many annoying features. I think the story mode could use a little work. Some of the difficulty levels, like the difficulty is like here for most of the story mode, and like the last 2 levels it jumps here, and they introduce a couple Digimon you have to fight. But yeah, it's a really fun game. Yeah, there's some problems with it, like not all the voice actors are there, the original voice actors are there, but most of them are. You get 12 Digimon, no representation for Season 5, like at all. But that could be some licensing issues. But there is Season 4 Digimon in the story mode, so it does balance it out, but none of the Season 4 are playable. It's mostly just Rookie, and then Gatomon being the one champion level. It's a base champion. But it's really fun to play. It's not super complicated, but it actually has a surprisingly deep combat system that I've been really enjoying. So if you would not pick this up because Bandai wasn't bringing the Digimon story games over, and now they are, I'd say pick it up. It's definitely worth $20 at most retail stores you can find it at. I've had a lot of fun with it. And for Wii U, I've basically been playing Splatoon and Smash Brothers. Again, 2 games that have been talked about a whole lot. Splatoon is so much fun. It's like the only online focused game I've really enjoyed. It's really cool. So even though I really enjoy Smash Wii U, I haven't actually bought anything from the 2nd or 3rd batches of DLC. I'm not really digging Ryu from what I've seen with the video. It's just like, when it comes down to, do I want to spend money on, Lucas, Roy, and Ryu, some of the costumes, or I could buy, like, a Gunpla, because that's what I do. It's been kind of like, I've been leaning towards the Gunpla. It's kind of weird. I really enjoy playing this, and it's probably probably my favorite Smash game now, but, yeah, I haven't really bought the DLC. So, anyways, there's that. That is what I've been playing lately. I have not played as much games as I normally do. I've been watching more shows, which is why we have another stack of cases. So, I started this last night, 1987 original Ninja Turtles series. I recently caught up on the 2012 show, which is what I was watching. But I'm all caught up on that, so I'm waiting on more episodes. And I figured I've seen the 87 series sporadically throughout the years. It was something I watched as a kid on VHS and then on DVD. And I, picked up the DVDs between 2004 and like 2010 or whatever it was. It was like an insane. It was 2012. Yeah, it was like 2004 or 2012 was the DVD releases for this, and I pretty much watched them as they came out almost. So I've seen just about every episode of this show. But I'm going through and want to watch it as a whole, like within a year instead of like within 8 years. So yeah, it's a fun show. Like, it is extremely silly and extremely goofy, but I still love it. It's cool. And then after I finish this, I'm going to go to the 2003 series, which I've heard good things about, but never watched in its entirety. I've been watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. I've had a love-hate relationship with this show. I'm digging its theme song. I dig some of the ideas it's got going on. I'm actually got it on my TV right now. I'm trying to see if this show is going to get better, and it kind of did with this episode I'm watching. I'm currently on like episode 9, I think, 8 or 9, and it's got some cool ideas going for it. But I feel like every duel being like a 2-part episode is really tiring because it's like, here's all this setup and then here's a duel. And if it breaks from that a little bit, which I think it has, it'll get a lot better. But the temptation is there for me to just move back to Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Season 2, which I just picked up on DVD, and then watch this later. But yeah, we're going to see if the adventures of Yuma and Astral will get more interesting. Speaking of things that are interesting, Turn A Gundam. I have been watching this thanks to the DVD release. I was like, hey, I'm going to watch Turn A. I've actually got my mom hooked on this show now, which is why I was a little slow watching it. But yeah, I got both DVD sets now. This is a great show. When it comes to Gundam series, this is probably one of the best that I've seen. And everything I've watched since started watching Turn A has not really lived up to it. So it's kind of like, I don't want people to go out and watch if they've never seen Gundam before, especially since it is very good. This is probably one of the highest quality Gundam series that I've ever seen, and I definitely recommend it to any Gundam fans that have not watched it because it has not been released in America. Go pick up the new DVDs. This is a great show. And I don't want to say anything more because it's awesome. I've also been watching something a little less awesome, Gundam Double O second season. I've been watching this as a side thing to Turn A. I watched 2 discs so far. That was like a week ago. Yeah, I'm not really digging this season. I really liked the first season of Double O, aside from some things in the ending. But the second season, it's a little not as good, especially with Saji Crossroads. I've never wanted a character in a TV show to die faster than that guy. So, yeah, this is kind of one of those shows I'm watching because I watched the first season, but, yeah, not one of my favorites right now. What I am enjoying, though, is Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040. This was a show that was constantly advertised on ADV DVD releases like Metabots and Sonic the Hedgehog, you know, kids shows. And this is really not a kid show, but I'd see advertisements for it, but I couldn't get it because it wasn't a kid show and it was, you know, mature rated and stuff. But now, new DVD release, watching it. I've actually got my parents watching it with me, which is pretty fun. It's a really neat cyberpunk show. A little slow at start, but it has a lot of cool elements to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing the rest. And finally, my favorite show right now, Digimon. I'm on Season 3. I have not started Season 3 yet. I know some of Season 3. I know like absolutely nothing about Season 4, so I'm excited for that. But I just finished the second season of Digimon the other night, and I gotta say that this is like, out of all the kid shows that I watched, like all the kids-focused anime shows that I watched as a kid, this is like the one that's held up the best. Like, Pokemon is a show I will never go through and watch everything again. I won't even finish a season. It just not hold up as well as I remember it. The movies still do for Pokemon, which is fun, but Digimon has held up for me. It's become even better as an adult because it kind of like can reminisce to being a kid. And so that's kind of like the fun part, but like the way the show is done is so good, especially with the dub. Now, I know there's a lot of fans of the Japanese version. I don't find the Japanese version to be that interesting, as it is kind of, the soundtrack doesn't really draw me in. That can kind of like ruin a show for me if it has a terrible soundtrack. I don't really like the Japanese Digimon soundtrack outside the insert songs. And some of the voices and characterizations can be weird. Like, the kids in Season 1 are real jerks in Japan. They fixed that for the dub. But I like how the dub did not try to localize everything, at least for the first few seasons. Like, the first season, everybody had nicknames that were based on the Japanese names. They still live in Japan. They didn't try to move them to America like they did with Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's really cool that they kept Japanese text in. They've kept most of the content that they could. They cut out a few scenes because some scenes are just not going to get approved by the censors. But I like how they got to keep religious symbolism. They got to keep Japanese language in there, Japanese culture. It's a good introductory show for kids to learn. There's other cultures out there. There's not just American. There's not just America. There's other countries have their different cultures, which is something that a lot of animes like to cover up, that they're from Japan or like that. So I'm glad that Digimon kept that. Plus the shows are actually really good. So yeah, I'm going to start Season 3 soon, and eventually go through Fusion and watch all that. So that's what I've been reading, that's what I've been playing, that's what I've been watching. That's all I got for you guys today. Anyway, stay tuned for next week for more reviews, and till next time, saying goodbye.